Hi, this is Alex from PHP Academy and welcome to this tutorial on how to implement jQuery into your page. Okay, so as you can see, I have a blank page open in my browser. I've also got jQuery.com at the ready to download the latest version, and I also have my text editor here open in my page, or rather the page that I'm currently working on. Now, to download jQuery, you can do this in a variety of different ways. However, the method that I prefer is to create a new page, and we're going to copy and paste the jQuery library code into this page and then save it out. So let's just take a look at my directory structure. You can see that at the moment I've got index.php open, and I've created a folder called JS, which stands for JavaScript. You can see that at the moment this folder is empty. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to save the jQuery code inside of here and call it just jQuery.js. Remember, we use a JS extension for JavaScript files. So let's go ahead and open up the jQuery website. I'm going to make sure I've got production selected because I am actually just using this to write using jQuery, and I'm going to click download. And as we've seen in the last part of the tutorial, this just essentially opens up in our browser. So let's go ahead and copy in the entire page, and we're going to go ahead and paste it into this document here. Okay, so you can now see that that's been pasted into my text editor. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this file, and I'm going to save it in JS, and I'm going to call the file jQuery.js. I'm going to press enter to save that. So now we've got jQuery saved, we can close it because we know where it is. We don't need to modify the file itself. And now that we've saved it, we actually need to implement it into our page. Now, I'm not going to be using valid HTML. I'm just going to go ahead and write out a very basic HTML template. The reason I'm not using valid HTML and a valid HTML template is just simply so we can focus more on the include of the jQuery and then the content in the body area. So inside of our head area, we're actually going to need to include jQuery. So let's go ahead and say script type equals, and then we end a script. Okay, so in here we would usually write our code in here, as you know, our JavaScript code. I'm not actually going to be doing that. I'm just going to include a type and then a source. Now the type is text/JavaScript, as we usually write when we are opening up a script tag with JavaScript code, and then we need a source, and this source is js/jQuery.js. That's where we saved it earlier. Okay, so now when we save this and run our page in our browser, this is actually we've actually run the jQuery library. Okay, so we now have access to our jQuery library. So inside a body, we can actually try to test this. Okay, so the example I'm going to use is I'm going to create a paragraph tag, and I'm going to have some text in here, and I'm going to say click here to hide me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an on-click event to this paragraph tag, and that's essentially going to hide this paragraph tag. So probably one of the most basic examples you could actually use. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our event. If you're not familiar with HTML events, then I suggest you look them up. We have onClick equals something. Now with jQuery, we use a $sign before the thing that we want to hide, and then we put the thing that we want to hide, the selector, in brackets, and in this case it's this, and this now refers to the actual paragraph element on here because we've called it from inside the P tag. And after this I'm just going to do dot, and then we can include the function that we want to carry out on this element, and that function is going to be hide, and then we're going to just end with a line terminator or a semicolon. Okay, so inside here we can give this a parameter of milliseconds. So I could say 1000, which would be a second, or I could say 500, which would be half a second. I'm going to go for a second. And essentially what this is going to do is it's automatically going to animate this hiding itself away. And it's going to take 1 second to complete the animation. That's essentially how easy it is. Now if you wanted to say find more parameters that hide takes, and it does take 3 parameters I believe, you can actually go to the jQuery library documentation and have a look there, and it will tell you all the information you need. That's one great thing about the jQuery documentation. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. If we just go ahead and refresh, you can see that we've got click here to hide me. Now when I click it, you can see that it just disappears and you saw the animation effect that we got. Now just this simple example, we've seen that jQuery has now actually been successfully implemented into our page. We've included this script into our page. Otherwise this wouldn't have worked because this is a jQuery functionality. Let's just remove that to demonstrate how it wouldn't have worked. When I click it, nothing happens. Okay, so that's essentially how you include jQuery into your page. I suggest you use valid HTML. I've already explained the reasons that I'm not for the purposes of this tutorial. However, you now have included jQuery and you've simply tested it.